Who should be buying in Costa Rica real estate versus who should be building? Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen for Travel Costa Rica NOW.com, and we're talking real estate. We're going to get into this quick. We're going to be talking to Matt. He's a real estate agent up in the Guanacaste area, Tamarindo. We're going to run his credentials in a minute, but I can tell you that I wouldn't be talking to him unless I believe he had some integrity and some honesty. And as I've gotten to know him, I believe it even more. So Matt, thank you very much for talking to us. You're the expert in this field.
My pleasure.
And we're going to be talking about who should be buying in Costa Rica real estate versus who should be building. And I'm going to postulate that no one should build here. And you can correct me down the road, but let's talk about building versus buying pre-existing, and maybe some of the shortcomings in both, or who should be doing what.
Yeah, really, when I think about the people that I would say you should definitely buy land and build instead of buying existing construction, it's going to be few people that I say that to. Obviously, as a real estate agent, there's a big benefit to me buying existing construction, so that comes with the grain of salt that, yes, I have a different result if someone buys a house versus a piece of land. However, what's happened, we've discussed how many people, or you've discussed, come to Costa Rica and leave 2 to 5 years down the road. Really, the cost of construction today, almost unanimously across the board, unless you are an absolute miracle, is going to be greater than the cost of existing similar construction that you could find, because that churn that brings people to Costa Rica, buying property, building their dream home, and then leaving in 2 to 5 years, that creates inventory and motivated sellers that have accrued with time, especially in the fallout of the 2009-2010 crash, and currently in a market hiccup like the one we're going through. You can expect a ton of sellers to enter the market, and right now buyers are not coming down. So literally, to replace most of the homes that you'll see on the Coldwell Banker Tamarindo website, or most real estate websites.
Did you just plug your website?
Sorry, I didn't
Jesus,
say .com.
I didn't know you were going to have an agenda here.
Anyhow, the existing real estate in many cases is going to cost less than what it would cost to build it today. And in lots of cases with motivated sellers, you could get something similar or comparable for far less than what it would cost to build you today. That's a dynamic, first of all, driven by the motivated sellers, also inflation and the rising materials costs with time. Costa Rica is getting to be a more expensive place to do business for contractors. Their employees get more benefits every year. And so if you can find a way to live with an existing house, you're frequently going to find that you get a better deal buying something existing than buying a lot and trying to go through that construction process.
It just seems like building is just fraught with so many possibilities of things going south very quick. And it's like, to me, at least the first thing that somebody should be kind of understanding the construction of things, knowing a little bit of things, maybe lived here long or something, because just to go, I'd like to build my dream home. Oh my.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I think the people, if we were to flip the question and say who should actually buy and build, construction is fraught with peril all over the place, and you can have horror stories.
In the world, yeah. Basically, right.
And in Costa Rica, it's even more so. The people that should build here are only the subset of people who can either do everything 100% themselves and build a home from scratch, doing it themselves, or the people that have the money and the time and the wherewithal to find a good contractor, because they do exist.
They do. I mean, there's some people that they should build.
Yeah, and if you're in that set where you can afford to hire one of the good contractors, there are developments that have engaged builders who are brilliant. Those people can give you the house you want on the timeline they say and the budget they give you. And if you have the money to be able to really not have to pinch pennies, hire that person. And yes, they do exist here. Cases in Tamarindo, people down in Junquial where I live, etc. if you're looking to do things on the absolute best budget possible, I would highly suggest that buying land and building, if you're not part of those people who can do it all yourself, is going to end up costing you more in the long run. If you come down with that, I need to save as much money as possible, and you start looking around for contractors, they're all going to give you their bids, and as a budget-oriented client,
Yeah.
you're going to be looking for the contractor who gives you that good number, and they're frequently in Costa Rica the contractor who's not going to do that good job. So even though it's a harder bullet to swallow, if you're coming down with X budget for Costa Rica, I think that you're right in that category of people. Find something existing that you can afford with your budget, because a piece of land is a hypothetical thing that you can afford with your budget. If you're saying, I want to get land and a house for $300,000, got the land for $40,000, now I need the contractor to finish at $260,000.
And it's not going to. It's not going to. I mean, that's around the world. When's it ever that amount? I think probably the biggest thing to me with the building would be, we talked about it I think in another video, you better have some patience. I think you should maybe live down here for a while. Buying something, I kind of get that. I'm still a big renter on a lot. You know, I mean, if you've only been down here a short period of time, I think you should rent first. But when you've made that decision because you've lived here a couple years, okay, to me, you have to live here 2 years, and now we're talking, should I buy pre-existing or should I build?
Exactly.
But if you're just going, let's buy some land and build our dream home,
you're not.
I mean, forget all the things that could happen during this if you don't really understand the building process, especially in another country. But I just, that's going to be for sale.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be for sale, or it's going to be half done, one or the other.
Absolutely. And if you're, that seasoned Costa Rica person who knows, I want this place now and I want to have my perfect home.
Yeah, they like their place.
Building is
they
a
got their
perfect fit.
location, They understand the land. They understand the people, the pros, the cons.
Yep.
They've conceptualized it. They know some people probably by this point.
Yeah.
They've talked to maybe you, or here's a good contractor.
Yeah.
He's a trustworthy person. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people do this kind of jumping in before they've really.
For sure, and in evaluating real estate, everybody comes down, and I think the lack of diverse inventory, this is not as big of a real estate market as Northern California or most urban areas in the US, where you've got 40 or 50 houses built in a subdivision that you're basically picking, do the stairs come on this side or that?
I bought the white cabinets, not those ones.
Exactly. There is not that quantity of properties that are attractive or viable for foreigners moving to Costa Rica. So you're dealing with small numbers in the first place. People come down and they look at the available options and they say, nothing really clicked and took my breath away, and really I didn't find my house. And at that point, a lot of people say, well, never mind, I'm going to buy land and build. You should, I think at that point, pull on the brakes a bit, because first of all, your dream home that you're going to build yourself won't be 100% your absolute, this was perfection and we nailed it and there's nothing we could possibly improve. No matter where you live, there are going to be flaws with your home. So in looking at available homes, you've got to figure, okay, are the flaws that come with this existing home enough where are they so severe that I'm going to take the entire risk of the building process just because, this house, well, I didn't really like the Spanish colonial, the third bedroom was a little small, et cetera, et cetera.
That's so North American thinking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't find that perfect house, but remember,
because it doesn't exist anywhere, not just Costa Rica.
It doesn't exist, and the perfect house is the house that you can resell and get your investment out when you need to, if you happen to be one of the people who's going home in 2 or 3 years. And that perfect house needs to cost you as little as possible, so that when it's time, if you're part of the people heading home, you're going to be able to resell. And in a lot of cases, if you would have bought the existing home, first of all, you'd be in your property 6 months, 12 months earlier, and second of all, you'd probably be in for a lower price point, a known quantity.
That's almost for sure, right? I mean, it's going to be a lower price point. you would have to, everything would literally have to go perfect
Uh-huh.
if you're building your own home. And there's just so many.
Yeah.
And I mean, just you're in another country, even if you know the construction business and you know piping and water and electricity and stuff, there's just so many little things. You know, do you speak Spanish with the laborers? There's a lot of stuff.
I would say it's almost impossible to do a new construction build that's going to beat existing construction in terms of the price. And in fact, you know, the seller's loss is your gain when you're approaching, looking at the real estate market. And there are motivated people who want to get out of their house, and you can get in there for less than it would cost you, for sure. Now that, you know, we hear from a lot of people that really want to build their own place because they want to do some sort of perfect, idyllic Costa Rica jungle, air, you know, B&B, glamping, you know, retreat in the woods. This isn't for sale. They don't find any business owner who is making tons of money with their beautiful little business tucked away in the woods in the perfect location by a waterfall, who's also willing to resell at a super good deal. And so they've got to build their own center, etc. That's the kind of person where you should be waiting 2 or 3 years before you're, you know, coming to Costa Rica and envisioning, oh, I want to buy a piece of land and start my own business and, you know, tackle all of these huge obstacles in a foreign country. You should definitely be renting first.
And that's why you're leaving within 5 years.
Yeah, rent first.
I say this every chance I get in these videos because it's just so true, because I've been here long enough to make the statement. Everybody I know that has built here, everybody, not 99%, 100% say the same thing. I love my house. I hated the process to get there.
Totally. Well,
they got something happen along the way. They're pissed. They're pissed, but they're in deep now. They're in deep. They can't go back.
Yeah.
They have to keep going. It's gone over budget. The work, you know, whatever it is. It's some story or a number of stories.
Yeah.
They love it at the end normally.
Yeah.
But that process, man, they just like.
Yeah. Really, building your own place is a long-term commitment to Costa Rica. So don't take it until you're really prepared for that long-term commitment here. And I do think that there might be someone out there who says, I love my house and I love the process. I think those are probably more often.
Comment on me, but say it.
Yeah, if someone's out there, I think it's going to, more often than not, it would be someone who is affluent. And, you know, they came into a community where they've got a world-class building team. The building site is all laid out. And perhaps there are a few stories of 100% satisfied customers.
All right, I will say that's probably true.
We built our own house. I hated the process. We had a totally funky situation that I would never recommend.
Well, you were newer though too, right? You were telling me earlier this wasn't last year.
No.
This was before you kind of really knew all the stuff you know now.
Yeah. This was, you know, I'd been in Peace Corps. We had done 6 months, my wife and I living here together, and we sort of started building with a friend and, you know, just sort of working things out as we went along. And oh my gosh, it was unbelievably stressful.
I bet.
You know, when you're especially a newly married couple in a new country, we had tons of assets in that, you know, I had a job, we had the experience sort of to get us through that rocky time. But I can't imagine somebody moving down to Costa Rica with the stress that brings, the culture shock, the different process, everything. Going through that and building a house must be an absolute near-death experience for a lot of people. And instead, you know, owning your own property can help a lot with the culture shock and really sort of having your own bat cave to retreat to, or at least having your place, you know, that you feel is yours. But yeah, in terms of trying to put together this project in addition to tackling your life goal of moving to Costa Rica is a huge project, and oftentimes it'd just be easier to buy a house.
Yeah, I don't want to be all nightmarish and just be all negative, but I have the other big story with building is we've seen this, and this is very sad. They come down here with X amount of money. And it's usually a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not like 30,000. They come down here, they got 450,000. I'm building this, and this. Well, 3/4 in, way over budget. It's not going to get done. By the time, whatever they're doing, it could be a business, it could be a house. By the time it's done, they either are going to owe relatives money.
Yeah.
They're starting. You know, they got to make. If it's a business, they have to make money right now.
Yeah.
And they're not going to
Yeah.
because it's business, and that's just doesn't work like that. And they're already in trouble.
Yeah.
Already in trouble, but they can't stop.
Yeah.
You can't stop. You're 70%, and all of a sudden, people are taking money you don't have. You got to get it finished.
No.
So now you're trying to you're getting.
You remind me of a story I've gone through, and that happens so often, and so it's really, the people that should build, I would say, are probably also buying into either gated communities or particular areas where there is a known contractor who hasn't been there for 5 years, but 25 years.
You kind of know what you're buying.
Who is built for 3 dozen people that you can talk to and you can say, is this person giving me the real budget? That sort of company, yes, go for it. You can build your dream home. But if you're coming down with that 450 and sort of getting to know the area and just deciding, I've got a lot of variables, find a house that's on the market at 450, offer 350 for it, get your 450 house at a great discount, and avoid that horrendous story.
If you want to add a patio in the back, you just go right for it.
Yeah, keep known quantities
Yeah.
everywhere you can instead of tossing it to fate. I'm going to hope my contractor meets this budget, because that's one of the biggest tragic stories that you frequently hear, and you see the unfinished houses, you see the people who have no savings anymore. It can be avoided, but it's most often not.
No, it's not. Well, guys, I hope this is food for thought. So if you're thinking about buying or purchasing or building in Costa Rica, just some things to keep in mind.
I'm going to add my 2 cents on that and just say that there are no Home Depots, no Lowe's, no big box construction stores here like there are in other places. So finding your construction material could be a little iffy.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're building not in the best place that's in terms of
There's
infrastructure.
a lot of variables and intangibles that people just don't know until they're knee deep in it.
Yeah.
They go to get something and it's not here. Oh, you have to get that from Panama or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So.
Yep.
All right, man, Matt. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Hopefully
Michael.
we'll
It's
be
been a
talking
huge
to you
pleasure.
again. Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. Things are gonna pop up. Do your homework. Watch more videos. What are you doing right now? Watch some more videos. Do your due diligence.
Click, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's